In today's video, you join me in Frankfurt, where we're going to be checking out British Airways' smallest business class. This is on board the Embraer 190 aircraft, so without further ado, let's get into it. Now, as part of today's video, one thing we're going to be exploring is, on such a short route, is business class really worth it? Now, everything, I'm thankful to say, was off to a pretty nice start, with thanks to a dedicated Club Europe check-in lane and of course the lounge experience. Now, with British Airways being a member of the One World Alliance, I was invited to use JAL's first class lounge, which is also called the Secura Lounge at Frankfurt International Airport. And as ever with the JAL lounges around the world, it was adorned with some nice facilities in terms of showers, but also some very good food offerings as well. My time of entry into the lounge was late morning sort of time, but by that time they already had a really good selection of various different food and drink options available. As for the lounge itself, well, this was a little bit on the busier side, as so many of the One World Alliance lounges are in this day and age. In terms of the selections, I just opted for a sandwich and an apple juice. It was a particularly heavy night the night before, but if you fancied something a little bit more on the indulgent side, there was a range of different wine options available, lots of beers and an awful lot of sweets to make sure that you had a really good time before heading down for your flight. Alrighty, so a really good time there in the lounge. Lounge a little bit busy, as they do seem to be at the moment, particularly across the One World Alliance. That all being said, it was nice and quick through security. Now we're just waiting for the flight to arrive and we'll jump on board. And not before long, and right on cue, the aircraft was arriving. Now, this will only be the second or so time that I've featured an Embraer 190 on the channel. I'm a big fan of these aircraft. British Airways operate them largely out of London City. The seats here are laid out in a 2-2 configuration, and unfortunately, in the business class, British Airways do completely fill them up. I have been with other airlines on this similar aircraft in the last year or so, and the seat next to me did seem to be blocked. So it was a little bit of a shock as someone came and plonked themselves down next to me. That all being said, we have BA's brand new cabin interior, and goodness, did it look smart. I'm pleased to be able to report that in terms of creature comforts, the seats had a recline feature and also an adjustable armrest. Despite looking very smart, however, they were a little bit on the firm side. One thing that I would note, that if you're in row 2 on the C and D side, you will get that fantastic amount of legroom, as ultimately you're in the bulkhead. That all being said, legroom really isn't bad, and an awful lot better actually than the Airbus A320 family of aircraft that British Airways operates a little bit more often. Whilst we take to those West German skies, a few more thoughts on the seat itself. I would point out that the seat lacked any form of in-seat charging and there was no Wi-Fi on board. I'm shocked for such a relatively modern aircraft that British Airways didn't opt for both on it. I get that it's operating on particularly shorter haul routes, but given the business focus of many of the routes that these aircraft are on out of London City, I think this is an area that they could really improve on. With the only entertainment in operation simply being the seat back safety card, I thought it a good idea to head straight into the lunch. Now, in terms of the lunch offering, it was small, but actually overall pretty decent. There was plenty of top-ups of the drinks going round, and yes, there would have been a number of alcoholic options available to you. Of course, I didn't go for it, still nursing that hangover from the night before. It was a little salmon dish, ultimately in the end, that I went with, and as ever with British Airways, that was accompanied with a really tasty little dessert as well. In addition to the salmon, there was also a halloumi option available. I will comment that there were little touches of quality flowing through the offering from British Airways, be it proper glassware, real cutlery. This was ultimately a taste of the proper business class experience with them. But with us now starting our descent down into East London, the key question remains, was this experience really worth the extra paid? And for me personally, particularly given the fact that I had someone next to me, no, I don't think this would be worth it. And if you are flying in or out of London City, I would probably recommend sticking to the economy, particularly if indeed you're silver tier status or above, and thus get many of the perks, be it the priority check-in, the lounges, as part of your status. Really hope today's video, however, was useful for you. I've got so much more on the channel from the likes of British Airways and so many other carriers, so don't forget to check me out over there. And all that's left for me to say is to thank you so much for watching today's video. I'll see you in another one real soon.